My name is Ilario Miranden, and I am what the magical world calls an impossibility. I am an elven omega who refuses to submit, a master analyst of the Shadow Guild who makes blood contracts instead of seeking protection, and the only being capable of detecting lies woven into ancient artifacts and false prophecies. For 23 years, I have lived by my own rules in a world that demands I bow to others simply because of what I am. But today, everything changes. The summons arrives at dawn, delivered by a raven whose eyes burn with unnatural fire. The Supreme Council of Omegas has decided my fate without consulting me, as they always do. I am to be wed to Lord Valian Starweaver, an alpha elf whose magical prowess is matched only by his cruelty. The marriage will unite two powerful houses and supposedly bring stability to our realm. What it will actually bring is my destruction, the slow erosion of everything I have worked to become. I sit in my study, surrounded by artifacts that most scholars would kill to examine, and I make a decision that will change the course of my life forever. I will not submit to this arrangement. I will not become another Omega trophy in an Alpha's collection. Instead, I will seek out the one being who might be able to help me escape this fate. Chiron Vault, the Demon Archivist. Chiron is a legend whispered about in the darkest corners of the magical world. Neither male nor female by nature, he chooses to present as masculine, and his true form is said to be so beautiful and terrible that mortals have been driven mad by the sight of him. He is the keeper of contracts, the guardian of old agreements, and the one who ensures that ancient pacts are never broken. Some say he can rewrite fate itself if the price is right. Finding him requires a journey into the Forgotten Archives, a place that exists between dimensions where time flows differently and reality bends to accommodate the impossible. The entrance is hidden in the basement of the guild library, behind a door that only appears when the moon is dark and the seeker's need is desperate. I have both conditions in my favor. The archives stretch infinitely in all directions, filled with scrolls and books that contain the recorded history of every contract ever made. The air tastes of old parchment and binding magic, and somewhere in the distance, I can hear the scratch of quills writing agreements that will shape the future. At the center of it all sits Chiron Vault, beautiful and terrible as the legends promised. He is tall and lean, with silver hair that moves like liquid mercury and eyes that shift between colors like aurora flames. His skin has the pale luminescence of moonlight, and when he speaks, his voice carries the weight of centuries. He wears robes that seem to be cut from shadow itself, and around his neck hangs a pendant that contains what looks like a captured star. Ilario Miranden, he says without looking up from the contract he is inscribing. I have been expecting you. Have you now? I reply, keeping my voice steady despite the power radiating from him. And what makes you think I need your services? Because you are here, he says simply, finally raising his eyes to meet mine. No one seeks me out unless they are desperate, and desperation makes for the most interesting contracts. I explain my situation, laying out the details of the arranged marriage and my refusal to submit to it. Chiron listens without interruption, his expression never changing, but I can sense his interest growing. When I finish, he sets down his quill and studies me with those shifting eyes. You want me to break an engagement sanctioned by the Supreme Council, he says. That is no small thing. The magical bonds of such arrangements are strong, and breaking them will have consequences. I'm prepared for consequences, I tell him. What I'm not prepared for is a lifetime of servitude to a man who sees me as nothing more than a possession. And what are you prepared to offer in return? He asks. My services are not free, and the price for freedom is always high. I reach into my satchel and withdraw an ancient artifact that I have spent years studying. It is called the Seal of Blended Time, a crystalline device that supposedly holds the power to alter the flow of temporal magic. Scholars have been trying to unlock its secrets for centuries, but its defenses are too strong for conventional analysis. I know what this is, I say, placing the artifact on his desk. And I know you've been searching for it. Karen's eyes widen slightly, the first crack in his composed facade. He reaches for the artifact, and I can see his fingers tremble with desire. Where did you find this? That's not important, I reply. What matters is that I can unlock its secrets. My gift allows me to detect the lies and deceptions woven into its protective enchantments. Help me escape this marriage, and I will help you decode the seal. He is quiet for a long moment, his eyes fixed on the artifact. Finally, he nods. Very well. But understand this, Ilario Miranden, once we begin this work together, there will be no turning back. The seal is connected to magics that predate our current understanding of reality. Unlocking it may have consequences neither of us can foresee. I understand, I say, though I'm not sure I truly do. When do we begin? Now, he says, standing and extending his hand. But first, we need to establish the terms of our contract. You will work with me to decode the seal, and in return, I will nullify your obligations to the Supreme Council. However, this work will require close collaboration. You will need to stay here in the archives, where time moves differently and we can work without interruption. I take his hand, feeling the jolt of magic as our agreement takes hold. His skin is warm despite his otherworldly nature, and his touch sends unexpected shivers through my body. How long will this take? Time is relative here, he says with a smile that is both beautiful and dangerous. It could be days, weeks, or months. In the outside world, only hours will pass. But I warn you, living in close quarters with a demon has its own risks. Over the next few days, I discover what he means. The archives exist in a pocket dimension where normal rules don't apply. There are rooms filled with nothing but contracts written in languages that no longer exist. Halls where the walls are covered in the names of every person who has ever made a deal with supernatural forces, and chambers where time moves so slowly that I can watch dust motes hang suspended in the air. Chiron is a fascinating companion and a brilliant scholar. He approaches the seal with a combination of scientific methodology and intuitive understanding that impresses even me. We work together for hours at a time, our heads bent over ancient texts, our hands occasionally brushing as we point out interesting passages or share theories about the artifact's construction. The more time I spend with him, the more I realize that he is not the cold, calculating demon I expected. He has a sharp wit and a surprisingly gentle touch when handling delicate manuscripts. He tells me stories of contracts he has overseen throughout history, some tragic, others amusing, all of them revealing his deep understanding of the complexities of desire and obligation. Why do you do this? I ask him one evening as we take a break from our work. Oversee contracts, what do you get out of it? He considers the question seriously. Order, he says finally. The universe tends toward chaos, but contracts create structure. They establish expectations and consequences. They give meaning to promises and weight to words. In a way, I am helping to write the rules by which reality operates. That sounds lonely, I observe. It can be, he admits, but it's also necessary. And occasionally, it brings interesting people into my life. He looks at me as he says this, and I feel heat rise in my cheeks. As we continue our work, I begin to notice that my Omega instincts are responding to Chiron in ways I didn't expect. He doesn't try to dominate or control me the way alphas do. Instead, he treats me as an equal, valuing my insights and abilities. His presence is calming rather than threatening, and I find myself relaxing in ways I never have around other powerful beings. The breakthrough comes after we have been working together for what feels like weeks. I am examining a particularly complex section of the seal's protective enchantments when I detect something that makes my blood run cold. The artifact isn't just protected by lies and deceptions, it's actively malevolent, designed to corrupt anyone who tries to use it. Chiron, I say, my voice tight with alarm. We need to stop. This thing is dangerous. He looks up from his own research, immediately alert. What did you find? I explain what I've discovered, and I watch his expression grow grave. The seal isn't just a tool for manipulating time. I continue. It's a trap. Whoever created it wanted to ensure that anyone powerful enough to unlock it would be destroyed in the process. Who would create such a thing? He asks. Someone who wanted to eliminate threats to their power, I reply. Someone who knew that only the most skilled and dangerous individuals would be able to get this far. We spend the next several hours carefully examining the artifact, and what we discover is even more disturbing than I initially thought. The seal was created by an ancient race of beings who were eliminated by the current magical order. It's their final revenge, a weapon designed to destroy the very people who replaced them. We can't use this, I tell Chiron. It's too dangerous. No, he agrees, but we can't leave it either. In the wrong hands, it could still cause tremendous damage. What do you suggest? He is quiet for a long moment, his eyes fixed on the artifact. There is a way to permanently neutralize it, he says finally, but it would require both of us to channel our power into it simultaneously. The risk is significant. If we miscalculate, the feedback could destroy us both. And if we don't try, then we leave a weapon that could potentially end civilization as we know it. The choice is clear, even though the risk is enormous. We spend the next day preparing, reviewing every detail of the neutralization process and discussing what could go wrong. The more we plan, the more I realize that this endeavor will require a level of trust and cooperation that goes far beyond our original contract. Are you certain about this? Chiron asks me the night before we attempt the neutralization. I can find another way to help you escape your marriage. You don't have to risk your life for this. Yes, I do, I reply, because if I don't, I'll spend the rest of my life knowing that I chose my own safety over the safety of countless others. That's not who I want to be. He nods slowly. Then we do this together. The neutralization process is the most intense magical working I have ever attempted. Chiron and I stand on opposite sides of the seal, our hands extended toward it, channeling our combined power into its crystalline structure. The artifact resists our efforts, fighting back with waves of corrupted energy that threaten to overwhelm us. Hold fast, Chiron shouts over the sound of magical forces clashing. Don't let it break our connection. I grit my teeth and pour more of my power into the working. The seal begins to crack, its surface spider-webbing with lines of light. But something goes wrong. The artifact's defenses lash out, and I feel a surge of malevolent energy strike me directly. The pain is indescribable. It feels like liquid fire is being poured into my veins, and I can sense the corruption trying to take hold of my mind. I stumble, my concentration wavering, and the working begins to collapse. Ilario, Karen's voice cuts through the chaos. Stay with me. I feel his power reaching out to me, not trying to dominate or control, but offering support and strength. He wraps his magical energy around mine, sheltering me from the worst of the artifact's attack while maintaining the neutralization process. Together, we push through the seal's final defenses. The artifact lets out a sound like breaking glass, and then it crumbles to dust. The malevolent energy that had been contained within it dissipates harmlessly, leaving only a pile of crystalline powder and the lingering scent of ozone. I collapse to my knees, exhausted and shaken. Chiron is beside me immediately, his hands gentle as he helps me to my feet. Are you hurt? He asks, his voice filled with concern. I don't think so, I reply, though I'm not entirely certain. That was intense. You were magnificent, he says, and there's something in his voice that makes me look up at him. His eyes are fixed on mine, and I can see emotions there that I didn't expect: admiration, concern, and something deeper that makes my heart race. Chiron, I begin, but he cuts me off. The contract is fulfilled, he says formally. Your obligations to the Supreme Council are nullified. You are free to make your own choices. And what if I choose to stay? I ask, the words coming out before I can stop them. He stares at me for a long moment. Why would you want to stay? Because I've never felt more myself than I have these past weeks. I tell him honestly, because you see me as I am, not as what others expect me to be. Because when I'm with you, I don't have to hide who I am or apologize for what I'm capable of. Ilario, he says softly, I'm not human. I'm not even entirely real in the way you understand reality. I exist to serve a function, to maintain the balance of contracts and obligations. I don't know if I'm capable of the kind of connection you're describing. Then let's find out, I say, stepping closer to him. Let's make a new kind of contract. not one bound by obligation or duty, but one chosen freely by both parties. He reaches out and touches my face, his fingers tracing the line of my jaw. What kind of contract did you have in mind? A partnership, I say. Equal terms, mutual respect, and the freedom to choose each other every day. And if you grow tired of this place, if you want to return to the world above, then we'll figure it out together, I reply. But right now, I can't imagine wanting to be anywhere else. He kisses me then, and it's unlike anything I've ever experienced. There's magic in it, but not the dominating, overwhelming kind that alphas use to control omegas. This is something collaborative, a sharing of power and desire that makes me feel stronger rather than weaker. When we break apart, he rests his forehead against mine. I should warn you, he says with a smile. Demons are possessive creatures. If you choose this path, I won't want to share you. Good, I reply, because I don't want to be shared. We spend the next several days negotiating the terms of our new arrangement. It's unlike any contract Chiron has ever written. There are no obligations, no penalties for breach, no binding clauses that would trap either of us. Instead, it's a simple agreement to build something together, to support each other's goals and desires, and to remain honest about our feelings and needs. This is unprecedented. Chiron tells me as we review the final draft. I've never written a contract that gives both parties the right to withdraw without consequence. Maybe that's what makes it strong, I suggest. The fact that we're choosing each other freely, not because we're bound by magic or obligation. He nods slowly. I think you may be right. We sign the contract in blood, as is traditional for the most serious agreements. But unlike the binding magic of conventional contracts, this one feels light and free. It's a promise rather than a chain, a commitment rather than a compulsion. Our new life together takes some adjustment. I establish a workspace in the archives where I can continue my research into ancient artifacts, while Chiron maintains his duties as keeper of contracts. We collaborate on projects that interest us both, and I find that my abilities complement his in ways neither of us expected. The Supreme Council is not pleased with my disappearance, but they are powerless to force my return. Karen's nullification of my obligations is absolute, and they cannot challenge a contract made with a being of his power and authority. Eventually, they declare me dead to avoid the political embarrassment of admitting that an Omega escaped their control. Do you miss it? Chiron asks me one evening as we sit together in his private chambers. The world above, your old life? I consider the question seriously. I miss some things, I admit. The sunrise, the feeling of grass under my feet, the taste of fresh fruit. But I don't miss the constant vigilance, the need to always be on guard against those who would try to control me. We could visit, he suggests. The archives have entrances in many places. We could travel, see other realms, experience different worlds. I'd like that, I say, curling up against his side. But only if you come with me. Always, he promises, pressing a kiss to the top of my head. As months pass, I begin to understand the true nature of what we've built together. It's not just a romantic partnership, though the physical and emotional connection between us continues to deepen. It's a true meeting of minds and souls, a collaboration that makes both of us stronger and more capable than we were alone. Chiron shows me wonders I never imagined: contracts that span multiple lifetimes, agreements that reshape reality itself, and archives that contain the recorded history of civilizations that existed before time began. I, in turn, help him understand the nuances of deception and truth that are crucial to his work, and my ability to detect lies in artifacts proves invaluable in authenticating ancient agreements. But our peace is disrupted when a new arrival appears in the archives. A young wolf Omega named Taran Grey. He claims to be a refugee from a fallen pack, seeking sanctuary and protection. His story is tragic. His pack was destroyed by a rival clan, and he barely escaped with his life. He's young, perhaps 19 or 20, with the kind of innocent beauty that makes people want to protect him. Chiron is immediately suspicious. No one finds the archives by accident, he tells me privately. And very few beings have the power to open the dimensional barriers that protect this place. Either he's far more powerful than he appears, or someone sent him here. I use my gift to examine Taren's emotional state, and what I find is complex. He's afraid, certainly, and there's genuine pain in his memories of his pack's destruction. But there's also something else, a kind of determined resolve that doesn't match his story of being a helpless refugee. He's hiding something, I tell Chiron, but I don't think he means us harm. There's no malice in him, no intention to hurt us. Then what is he hiding? I'm not sure, I admit, but I think we should help him. Whatever he's running from, whatever he's not telling us, he needs sanctuary. And providing sanctuary to those who need it is part of what you do, isn't it? Chiron sighs. Your compassion is going to be the death of me, he says, but he agrees to let Taren stay. The young wolf is grateful for our help, and he proves to be a pleasant addition to our strange household. He has a quick mind and a gentle nature, and he's eager to help with whatever tasks we give him. He's also remarkably skilled at magic for someone so young, with abilities that seem to go beyond what most Omegas possess. What did you do in your pack? I ask him one day as we work together organizing a collection of ancient scrolls. I was a warrior, he says simply. Despite being an Omega, I was trained to fight. My pack believed that all members should be able to defend themselves and their territory. That's unusual, I observe. Most packs keep their Omegas away from combat. My pack was different, he replies, and there's something in his voice that makes me look at him more closely. They believed that strength came from unity, not hierarchy. Over the following weeks, I begin to notice subtle changes in the dynamics of our household. Taren is deferential to both Chiron and me, but there's an underlying strength to him that becomes more apparent as he grows comfortable with us. He has opinions about our work, insights that prove valuable, and a way of looking at problems that provides new perspectives. More importantly, I begin to sense a connection between him and me that goes beyond simple friendship. We're both Omegas, both outcasts from our original communities, both struggling to define ourselves in a world that wants to limit us. There's an understanding between us that doesn't require words, a shared experience that creates an immediate bond. I also notice that Chiron is responding to Taren in ways that surprise me. The demon is usually reserved with strangers, maintaining a careful distance until he's certain of their intentions. But with Taren, he's more open, more willing to share his knowledge and his space. Do you like him? I ask Chiron one evening after Taren has retired to his chambers. He's interesting, Chiron replies carefully. There's more to him than he's revealing, but I don't sense deception in the way you might expect. It's more like he's keeping secrets to protect himself, not to harm us. I think you're right, I agree. And I think those secrets are weighing on him. He's carrying some kind of burden that he's afraid to share. Should we confront him about it? I consider this. Not yet. Let's give him time to trust us. If he's hiding something, it's because he's afraid of how we'll react. We need to show him that our acceptance isn't conditional on him being completely open about his past. The truth comes out in the most unexpected way. I'm working late one night in my study when I hear sounds of distress from Taren's chambers. I rush to investigate and find him in the grip of what appears to be a nightmare, thrashing in his bed and crying out in a language I don't recognize. I approach carefully, not wanting to startle him, and place a gentle hand on his shoulder. Taren, wake up. You're safe. He jolts awake, his eyes wide with terror. For a moment, he doesn't seem to recognize me, and I can sense the defensive magic gathering around him. Then awareness returns, and he slumps back against his pillows. I'm sorry, he says, his voice shaking. I didn't mean to wake you. You didn't wake me. I lie. I was already up working. Are you all right? He starts to nod, then stops. No, he says quietly. I'm not all right. I haven't been all right for a long time. Do you want to talk about it? He looks at me for a long moment, and I can see him wrestling with himself. Finally, he nods. Yes, but not here. Can we go somewhere else? Somewhere we won't wake Chiron. I lead him to one of the smaller reading rooms, where we settle into comfortable chairs by a fireplace that burns with magical flames. Taran stares into the fire for several minutes before he begins to speak. I lied to you, he says simply. About my pack. About why I'm here. About everything. I know, I reply gently. I've known from the beginning that you were hiding something. But I also know that you're not here to harm us. He looks at me with surprise. You knew. I can sense emotions, remember? And yours have been complicated. You're afraid, but not of us. You're guilty about something, but not malicious. You're hiding something, but not for selfish reasons. Then why didn't you confront me? Because I thought you would tell us when you were ready, I say. And because I believed that whatever you were hiding, it was more likely to hurt you than us. Tears start to flow down his cheeks. You're right, he whispers. It is going to hurt me, but I can't keep lying to you. Not when you've been so kind to me. Tell me, I say softly. My pack wasn't destroyed, he begins. They're still alive, still powerful. And I wasn't a warrior. I was their spy, their infiltrator. They sent me here to get close to you, to gain your trust, and then to steal the seal of blended time. My blood runs cold. The seal is gone, Taran. We destroyed it. I know, he says miserably. I watched you do it, and I was glad, because by then, I had realized that I couldn't go through with my mission. I couldn't betray you, either of you. What were you supposed to do after you got the seal? Kill Chiron, he says, his voice barely audible. The pack has an artifact that can disrupt demonic contracts. They wanted me to use it to break your agreement with him, then eliminate him and bring you back to them as a prize. I feel sick. Why? Why would they want me? Because of your gift, he explains. Your ability to detect lies and deceptions. The pack is planning something big, something that will require them to navigate a lot of magical traps and protective enchantments. They want you to clear the way for them. And what about you? What were you supposed to get out of this? A place in the pack, he says. Acceptance. Belonging. I've been a lone wolf for most of my life, moving from pack to pack, never really fitting in anywhere. When they offered me a permanent home in exchange for this mission, I thought it was worth any price. But you changed your mind. I fell in love, he says simply, with both of you in different ways, with the life you've built together, with the way you treat each other as equals, with the kindness you showed me even when you knew I was hiding something. I realized that what I was looking for wasn't a place in a pack that would use me and discard me. It was a real family, real acceptance, real love. I'm quiet for a long moment, processing what he's told me. Does your pack know that you've changed your mind? Not yet, he says, but they will soon. They expected me to complete the mission weeks ago. When I don't return, they'll send others to find out what happened. How many others? Enough to be a real threat, he says grimly. The pack is large and powerful. They won't give up easily. Then we need to tell Chiron, I say. All of us together, we can figure out how to deal with this. He'll never trust me again, Taran says desperately. Why should he? I came here to kill him. He'll trust you because I trust you, I reply. And because despite everything, you chose to protect us instead of betraying us. That has to count for something. Chiron takes the news better than I expected. He's angry, certainly, but it's a cold, calculated anger rather than the explosive rage I feared. He listens to Taran's full confession without interruption, his face impassive. How long do we have? He asks when Taran finishes. Days, maybe a week, Taran replies. They're not patient, and they have resources that will let them track me here eventually. Then we need to prepare, Chiron says. The archives have defenses, but they're not designed to repel a full pack assault. We'll need to be strategic about this. You're not going to throw me out? Taran asks, his voice small. No, Chiron says firmly. You're part of this household now. We protect our own. The relief on Taran's face is heartbreaking. Thank you, he whispers. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but you do deserve it, I interrupt. You could have completed your mission and betrayed us. Instead, you chose to protect us even knowing it would put you in danger. That's not the action of someone who doesn't deserve forgiveness. Ilario is right, Chiron agrees. Your original intentions may have been hostile, but your actions have been honorable. That's what matters now. Over the next few days, we work together to prepare for the coming confrontation. Chiron shows us the archive's defensive systems, barriers that can seal off sections of the complex, traps that can redirect unwanted visitors into pocket dimensions, and weapons that can channel the raw power of the dimensional boundaries. But more importantly, we begin to develop a deeper understanding of each other. Taren's confession has created a new level of intimacy between the three of us. There are no more secrets, no more hidden agendas. We're all equally committed to protecting what we've built together. I find myself drawn to Taren in ways that surprise me. There's something about his vulnerability, his willingness to risk everything for the chance at real connection, that speaks to my own experiences as an Omega who refused to accept limitations. And there's something about his strength, the quiet courage it took to turn against his pack for the sake of people he barely knew, that I find deeply attractive. Chiron, too, seems to be warming to Taren in ways that go beyond simple acceptance. I catch them working together on defensive preparations, their heads close together as they discuss strategy. There's an ease between them that wasn't there before, a growing trust that's evident in the way they move around each other. This is complicated. I tell Chiron one evening as we watch Taren practice with some of the defensive spells he's learned. Most worthwhile things are, he replies. Are you concerned about the pack's arrival? Or about our feelings for Taren? Both, I admit. I care about him, Chiron, more than I probably should, given how short a time we've known each other. I care about him too, he says quietly, which is problematic, because I've never had to share before. Maybe you don't have to, I suggest. Maybe this is an opportunity to build something new, something that none of us have experienced before. A three-way partnership? He asks. That's unprecedented. So was our contract, I remind him. We made that work. He nods slowly. We did. But this would be more complex. 3 people, 3 sets of needs and desires, 3 different perspectives on what a relationship should be. Are you opposed to the idea? No, he says after a moment. Intrigued, certainly. Concerned about the practical implications, yes, but not opposed. Then let's see what develops, I suggest. We don't have to make any decisions right now. We can just be open to possibilities. The pack arrives 3 days later and they come in force. I sense them long before they reach the archives. Nearly 24 wolves, all of them powerful, all of them angry. They've tracked Taren's scent through the dimensional barriers, and they're not interested in negotiation. Taren Gray, their leader, calls out as they surround the main entrance to the archives. You have failed in your mission and betrayed your pack. Come out and face judgment. Taren stands between Chiron and me, his hands steady despite the fear I can sense in him. I won't go with you, he calls back. I found something better than what you offered me. You found nothing but corruption, the leader snarls. You've been seduced by demon magic and Omega weakness. But we can cleanse you of that influence if you come willingly. I'm not going anywhere, Taren says firmly. This is my home now, and these are my people. The leader's laugh is harsh and mocking. Your people? You're nothing but a tool, boy, a means to an end. Do you really think they care about you beyond what you can provide them? I know they do, Taren replies, because they've shown me what real care looks like, what real acceptance means. You never offered me that. We offered you a place in our pack. You offered me a role to play, Taren corrects, a function to serve. That's not the same thing. The negotiation, such as it is, breaks down quickly. The pack is not interested in compromise or alternative arrangements. They want Taren back, they want the seal of blended time, and they want to eliminate any obstacles to their plans. The battle that follows is unlike anything I've ever experienced. The pack attacks with coordinated precision, using their numbers and their knowledge of wolf fighting tactics to try to overwhelm our defenses. But they underestimate the power of the archives themselves, and the strength that comes from fighting for something you truly believe in. Chiron unleashes magic that bends reality around us, creating barriers of crystallized time and weapons forged from pure dimensional energy. His power is vast and terrible, and for the first time, I truly understand why demons are so feared. Taran fights with a skill and ferocity that surprises even me. His Omega status clearly didn't prevent him from becoming a formidable warrior, and his intimate knowledge of pack tactics allows him to anticipate and counter their attacks. I contribute by using my gift to detect the pack strategies and intentions, calling out warnings and coordinating our responses. My ability to sense lies and deceptions proves invaluable in identifying feints and misdirection. But the real turning point comes when the pack leader challenges Taran to single combat. It's a formal duel, governed by ancient laws that even demons must respect. If Taran wins, the pack must withdraw and leave him in peace. If he loses, he must return with them and face whatever punishment they deem appropriate. I accept, Taran says without hesitation, even though I can sense his fear. You don't have to do this, I tell him. We can find another way. No, he says firmly. This is my fight. These are my choices and my consequences. I won't hide behind you and Chiron anymore. The duel takes place in the central courtyard of the archives, witnessed by both the pack and the three of us. The pack leader is older and more experienced than Taran, with scars that speak of many battles. But Taran has something the leader doesn't, the strength that comes from fighting for love rather than obligation. The battle is fierce and brutal. Both wolves shift between human and wolf form, using claws and fangs and magic in combinations that are breathtaking to watch. Taran is faster and more agile, but the pack leader is stronger and more experienced. For a terrifying moment, it looks like Taran might lose. The pack leader gets him pinned, jaws closing around his throat, and I can see the life beginning to fade from his eyes. But then something extraordinary happens. I feel a surge of power from both Chiron and myself, flowing toward Taran without any conscious decision on our part. It's not magic in the traditional sense. It's something deeper, more primal. It's the power of connection, of chosen family, of love that transcends conventional boundaries. Taran's eyes blaze with new strength, and he throws off the pack leader with a force that sends the older wolf flying. When he stands, there's something different about him, a presence, an authority that wasn't there before. I am no longer the wolf you sent on this mission, he says, his voice carrying power that makes the entire pack step back. I am no longer bound by your rules or your expectations. I have chosen my own path, my own family, my own life. The pack leader struggles to his feet, blood running from multiple wounds. You think you can just abandon your obligations? Your debt to the pack? I think I can choose what obligations I accept, Taran replies. And I choose to be bound by love, not by duty. I choose to serve something greater than myself, not smaller. The leader looks around at his pack, and I can see the doubt in their eyes. They came here expecting to retrieve a wayward pack member, but what they've found is something else entirely. A wolf who has transcended the limitations they tried to impose on him. This isn't over, the leader says finally. The pack will remember this betrayal. Remember it, Taran says calmly, and remember that there are alternatives to the life you offer. Remember that wolves can choose their own paths, their own families, their own destinies. The pack withdraws, defeated not by superior force but by the power of an idea they can't counter. As they disappear into the dimensional barriers, I feel a sense of completion that goes beyond simple victory. That was incredible, I tell Taran as we gather in the aftermath of the battle. Where did that power come from? From you, he says simply. From both of you. I felt your strength flowing into me, your love supporting me. I've never experienced anything like it. Neither have I, Chiron admits. It was as if our connection created something new, something more powerful than any of us individually. Maybe it did, I suggest. Maybe that's what happens when people choose each other freely, completely, without reservation. Over the following weeks, we explore what this new dynamic means for our relationship. The three of us are drawn together in ways that are both romantic and spiritual, creating a bond that's unlike anything any of us has experienced before. It's not always easy. Three people means three sets of needs, three different communication styles, three different ways of expressing love and affection. But it's also incredibly rich and fulfilling. We complement each other in ways that create something stronger and more beautiful than any of us could achieve alone. Chiron brings his vast knowledge and his deep understanding of the forces that shape reality. His love is steady and thoughtful, expressed through actions and careful attention to our needs. Taran contributes his strength and his fierce protectiveness, his ability to see through deception and his willingness to fight for what he believes in. His love is passionate and wholehearted, expressed through physical affection and emotional openness. I offer my analytical skills and my gift for detecting truth, my experience in navigating complex magical and political situations. My love is expressed through understanding and acceptance, through creating safe spaces where we can all be ourselves. Together, we create something unprecedented, a three-way partnership based on equality, mutual respect, and chosen commitment. We develop new rituals and traditions that honor all of our backgrounds while creating something uniquely ours. I never thought I could be this happy, Taran tells us one evening as we sit together in our private chambers. I never thought I could feel this complete. Neither did I admit. I thought I was complete with just Chiron. But adding you to our family has made everything richer and more complex in the best possible way. It's been an education, Chiron agrees. I've learned things about myself and about love that I never imagined. You've both challenged me to grow in ways I didn't know I needed. What happens now?
Taran asks.
Do we just continue like this? We continue, I say firmly. We build on what we've created. We explore new possibilities. We support each other's growth and dreams. And we make it official, Chiron adds. If you're both willing, I'd like to create a formal contract that binds the three of us together. Not in the traditional sense of obligation and duty, but in the way we've learned to do things as a freely chosen commitment to love and support each other. Yes, Taran says immediately. I want that more than anything. So do I agree. Let's create something that reflects who we are and what we've built together. The contract we create is unlike anything in the archives. It's written in three languages: Elvish, Demonic, and the ancient tongue of the wolves. It contains provisions for individual growth and change, for renegotiation and evolution, for the complexity of loving multiple people in different ways. Most importantly, it includes a clause that none of us had expected, a provision for expansion. If we meet others who might fit into our family, others who need the kind of acceptance and love we've found together, we're open to that possibility. Because love isn't a finite resource, I explain as we review the final draft. The more we give, the more we have to give. And because we've all been outsiders, Taran adds, we know what it's like to be alone, to be rejected, to be told that we don't fit. If we can offer that belonging to others, we should. Then we're agreed, Chiron says. We're not just building a relationship, we're building a new kind of family, one that's open to growth and change. We sign the contract in a ceremony that blends traditions from all of our backgrounds. There are flowers from the elven realms, flames from the demonic dimensions, and moon-blessed water from the wolf territories. We exchange vows that are both solemn and joyful, promises that are both practical and poetic. I choose you, I say to both of them, not because I have to, not because someone told me to, but because you make me better than I am alone. Because you see me as I am and love me anyway. Because you give me the freedom to be myself while offering me the support to become more than I imagined I could be. I choose you, Taran says, his voice thick with emotion. Because you saved me from a life that would have slowly killed my soul. Because you showed me what real love looks like. Because you gave me a family when I thought I would always be alone. I choose you, Chiron says, his usually composed voice trembling slightly. Because you've taught me that eternity is meaningless without connection. Because you've shown me that sharing power makes it stronger, not weaker. Because you've filled my existence with purpose and joy. Our wedding night is a revelation. The three of us come together with a passion and tenderness that transforms physical intimacy into something transcendent. We learn each other's bodies and desires, discovering new ways to give and receive pleasure, creating a symphony of sensation that leaves us all changed. But it's not just about the physical. It's about the emotional and spiritual connection we've forged, the way we can communicate without words, the way we anticipate each other's needs and respond to them instinctively. This is what I was meant for, Taryn whispers as we lie entwined in the aftermath. This is what I've been searching for my whole life. We all were, I reply, running my fingers through his hair. We just had to find each other first. And now that we have, Chiron adds, his arms around both of us. We have eternity to explore what we can build together. The months that follow are filled with discovery and growth. We establish new routines and traditions that honor our three-way partnership. We take turns planning special evenings for each other. We develop new magical techniques that combine our different abilities, and we create spaces in the archives that reflect our combined aesthetic and needs. We also begin to reach out to others who might benefit from the kind of acceptance we've found. Word spreads through the magical community about the unusual household in the archives, and we begin to receive visitors, outcasts and misfits who are looking for a place where they can be themselves. Some stay for a few days or weeks, finding the strength and support they need to continue their journeys. Others become permanent members of our extended family, adding their own unique gifts and perspectives to our community. We're building something important, I tell Chiron and Taren, as we watch a group of our newest residents working together in the archives garden. Something that could change how magical beings relate to each other. A new model for family and community, Taren agrees, based on choice rather than blood, on love rather than obligation. It's what the world needs, Chiron says. The old systems are failing, the old hierarchies are crumbling. We're creating something that can replace them. And we're doing it together, I add, taking both of their hands. The three of us, equal partners in everything we build. As I look around at the life we've created, I'm filled with a sense of completion and purpose that I never imagined possible. I began this journey as a rejected Omega, desperate to escape an unwanted marriage. I've ended up as part of something unprecedented, a three-way partnership that transcends traditional categories, a family that's chosen rather than imposed, a love that's freely given rather than demanded. We've proven that there are alternatives to the conventional ways of living and loving. We've shown that outcasts and misfits can create something beautiful and powerful when they come together. We've demonstrated that love, when it's based on freedom and choice rather than obligation and duty, can overcome any obstacle. This is our story, the elf, the demon, and the wolf who chose each other and changed everything. It's a story of rejection becoming acceptance, of loneliness becoming connection, of fear becoming love. It's a story that's still being written, still growing and evolving with each passing day. And it's only the beginning.